Hello and welcome to episode 53 of Socketcraft. In the last episode, we tore down what used to be a mountain behind me, and in between episodes, I've been busy getting rid of all the trees in the area, making this a fully blank canvas for us to get started on our Bossing Say build. And building Bossing Say is going to be a huge build, so in today's episode, we're going to go over how I prepare and get ready to do a mega build and what kind of tools that I use in that process. And while we're at it, we're going to try some tools we haven't used before that our friends have told us about that we think will be really useful for building Bossing Say. And now let's start today's episode off with a time lapse of us clearing out all the trees in the area and getting this place the blank canvas that we need it to be. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that time lapse, and we've already got step one of what I like to do when I'm prepping for a mega build complete, and that is do the terraforming. I chopped down all the trees in the area that I wanted to and flattened all this stuff out so it wouldn't be super drastic weird hills in the area. And now I think we're ready to go on to step two, which is going to be the planning phase. And we're going to use some new features, a new mod that I've never used before, and to help us do that. So I've downloaded Mini Hud. You can see at the top part of the screen, there's a bunch of extra settings, and that's what Mini Hud does. It has a bunch of stuff that it's able to do for you, but we're going to use it specifically for the shapes functions today, and that's what we're going to talk about. So now to get started with it, I'll just come over here a little bit. I kind of picture the center of the village being somewhere close to here. So I'll just tower up right here. And this is where we can start using the Mini Hud features to help us plan out Bossing Say. So if I open up the Mini Hud menu, we go to the shape setting, I'm going to select circle, and I want to create 6 circles here. Now we can go into configure, and I want to change the radius of the circle. So I want to make this one, let's make it 50. Let's make this one 150. And let's make this one 250. Now when we're in the shape manager and we hover over the first one, you can see radius 50, 150, and 250. And if we come here and enable them, it will create a render that we can see and move around, get close to, and interact with. And we can use this to help us build out the shapes and plan out where we kind of want to build Bossing Say. So now we're picturing this being the the upper ring, the middle ring, and the lower ring. And then outside of that, here, if we look at the reference photo that I have that's helping me plan Bossing Say, you'll see that there's the 3 rings, and then somewhere on the outside there is another really big wall, and that wall is actually going to be the biggest wall, and I'm really excited for the plans that I have for that wall. And now back here in the center, I've created the next 3, which I want to be a radius of 55, 155, and 255. Now this is just for making it even easier for us to build these walls, because I don't imagine them being one thick. So this really helps us figure out where the walls are going to be, and yeah, it takes a lot of the guesswork out of it. So if you can get one layer down with everything helping you, it should make it really easy to continue building the walls up from there. So we've got these really good starting points for getting started with Bossing Say. Now, what I like to do next is start laying things out using wool. And I like using wool because it's easy to collect a lot of with a farm like this, and you can collect a whole bunch of different colors, so it's easy to color code and plan things, because having color codes and plans really actually does help make things a little bit easier when planning. So I'm just going to grab up a few colors from here and let's head back. So now we've went and grabbed 4 different types of wool to use, and we can start planning and laying out where the walls are going to be. So I'm going to just tower up, lay down probably white in the middle, light gray moving out farther, and eventually the black will be the farthest outer wall. But yeah, let's hop into another time lapse of me laying down all this wool. And just like that, I've got all the walls of Ba Sing Se planned out where I want them to be. Well, not all the walls. There still is going to be the massive outer wall, which is going to be a huge project on its own. And I have got to say, if we didn't have Mini Hud, it would have taken us countless extra hours to figure out all these circles here. It saved me so much time and like just brain work. Just being able to use the Mini Hud to figure out where everything goes, and it's looking perfect now. The only thing is there still is probably a lot more terraforming I need to do. I'm going to need to figure out something to do over this river, and yeah. But next, we need to start thinking about where the other wall is going to go. So it needs to be a little bit outside this wall, so it's probably going to come out through this landscape here, maybe around these mountains, and it's just going to be a really big project. I don't think I'm actually going to lay out where this wall is going to go, and I'm probably just going to start freestyling it in a later episode, but at least we have a lot of good planning. I know way over here I want to do a lot of stuff with this space here. We're going to mark this out soon, and I want the big main wall to at least come out just on the outside of this river. So if I can have it come up along here and then circle back inside, I think that's how big it's going to be. The wall is probably going to be an ongoing project in this world pretty much indefinitely, because just finishing off the Ba Sing Se wall seems like something that's, I don't know, it's going to be millions and millions of blocks, I'm guessing. And don't let that make you think I'm not planning on finishing Ba Sing Se. This is going to be where I'm probably going to be spending a lot of time on stream in the future, but we still have plenty of other projects planned for this world, so we'll start getting to the point where we're doing 2 projects at once pretty soon. Now let's talk about what our plans are going to be for just outside the city wall of Ba Sing Se. We're going to have this beautiful open landscape here surrounded by a ton of beautiful mountains. And I kind of want this to be the zoo of Ba Sing Se. There's a ton of mobs that you can collect in the game, and I want to start collecting like rare skeletons, spider jockeys, and stuff like that. All that type of stuff is kind of really fun to collect when you're in late game. So we'll have some pig farms, some cow farms, some sheep farms, but we'll also have some underground enclosures for skeletons, zombies, husks, creepers, charge creepers, and really any mob that you can think of that you can collect. And the other plan for the outskirts of the city over here is I want to have, it's kind of a secret project, so I'm not going to tell you everything, but we're going to have something out here that has to do with the headquarters of the Dai Li. We're going to have just a nice little building here that we're going to have a lot of fun with in some future episodes. And I quickly want to answer the question of why did I build all these circles up in the sky? And that's because with the Mini Hud mod and the shapes, it won't actually let you know. I would have to break away the mountain to find where the lines ended, so I decided to just lift it up and put it above the mountain. And now that we're up here, all I need is some gravity blocks, and I can figure out where everything goes down below just by looking at where all of this falls. So looks like the wall goes, oh wow, straight down into this cave here, which might be a little bit of an issue, but I'll be able to figure that out in the future. And, you know, similar idea everywhere else. I just need to walk along, place a little bit of gravel, and we'll see where the wall lands. And I have to say, I've been using Mini Hud for like 1 day, and I'm a big fan of it. There's a lot of really cool things you can do with it. For example, it gives you the option to look at what is actually inside the shulker boxes, so you can actually know if what you're looking for is in there before you take it out of your ender chest. That's one of the cool features. There's so many cool ones. You can have it tell you what the light level of every block is in your vicinity. So this could help you for lighting up your builds. So if you haven't heard of Mini Hud, there is a whole bunch of stuff that it's useful for, and I recommend looking into it if you haven't already. But with that being said, we're running all out of time for today's episode, so I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, consider leaving a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys next time. Water Tribe, out.